Man, I'll tell you what, we had 2 games.
Let me tell you.
One was awesome. One was, it was a route.
That wasn't too great. Yeah.
Wasn't too great. But you want to start off the NFC, get the Eagles going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, let's get that one out of the way. I mean, I assume that's the game you were alluding to that was not as exciting. I honestly felt like that first drive was intriguing. 18 plays by the Commanders, 6 minutes. Didn't come away with a touchdown, got 3 points, but I was like, man, this is going to be a tight one here. And then honestly, I don't remember another solid play by Jaden Daniels the rest of the game. I mean, he made some good throws that first half, but it just felt like the Eagles' offense was just it ended up being the rushing defense of the Commanders just could not handle the rush of the Eagles. Well, they have 7 rushing touchdowns, something like that.
7, yeah. A Dan Quinn defense once again gets beat by the run. And what's crazy, so you're right. They start the game off with that 18-play drive, and then this happens right here with old Saquon taking it and just hitting the hole so hard, spinning out, and then this cut back there, just so good.
First touch of the ball. I mean, right there, he looked like Penn State Barkley. It's to do that in the league at this level after, the guy's 27, which is relatively old for a running back. Crazy. He dominated 2 touchdowns on his first 2 touches. Obviously, we'll preview the Super Bowl next week, but the calf issue, is that going to be, they saw massaging on it because he outran everybody so fast that he hurt himself a little bit there. But yeah, 55-23, 7 rushing touchdowns. Saquon 15 carries, 118 yards. I mean, just murdering them. And then I thought Jalen Hurts played about as good of a game as I've seen him play, other than the Super Bowl against the Chiefs where he scored 36 points and lost. Yeah.
So he was hitting Brown. He was hitting Goddard. Smith is kind of the forgotten man, Devontae, but I think he'll be all right going to the Super Bowl.
The one thing Hurts did a couple times, though, I don't know if you picked up on this, Brady was giving him a hard time about not staying in the pocket, not releasing it quickly. He'd do that thing where, he kind of runs back like 15 to 20 yards and throws the ball away.
Yeah, he does that.
I mean, but that's his game, when he's throwing the ball away. But yeah, I agree with you. I think he had a solid outing. He didn't throw a pick, I don't believe. I don't think they turned the ball over.
Hurts, no. I mean, they missed a field goal. Yeah, so this is what got me. So kind of going through the game real quick, they did that big drive, touchdown Eagles, and then they fumble on Brown. He takes the pass across the middle, gets it punched out. Eagles take it back, touchdown. At that point, I'm thinking, man, this game might be going to get ugly quick.
Same.
But then Washington takes the ball. They another long drive, 10 play, well, a lot of plays, 10 plays, 45 yards, takes 4 minutes, and another field goal. Okay, 14-6. The Eagles drive back down a 12-play drive. This is what I'm seeing too. It's a lot of dink and dunk, take what the defense gives you, and we can analyze this through the changing NFL and why running backs are kind of back. It has to do with them playing off so much, not wanting to give the big play, but we can analyze that a little more next week. They missed the field goal, so it's still 14-6. The Commanders get the ball, score the touchdown, miss the 2. You're like, okay, it's a game. Eagles go right back down and score. And then on the ensuing kickoff, fumble.
Wild.
And actually go back down and score. So it's 14-12 Eagles. And that's the one, it's 4th and 5 from the Washington 45. And this is before the 2-minute warning. So if they give the ball back to Washington's at least going to get a field goal out of that. They only need 15 yards. And instead, like 2 plays change the game. Big throw, then touchdown, and then the ensuing kickoff, fumble, touchdown, 27-12, 27-15, then at half, and then it just starts to get away from them. Yeah.
That was I think 14-12 was the last time where I was like, all right, this could be back and forth. I mean, before the fake punt, I was on the same train as you. I was like, man, if they go down 21-3, it's over early.
Oh yeah,
they're going to be fighting against fighting the clock the rest of the game. But yeah, I mean, Eagles definitely high powered offense. Obviously, Jalen Hurts playing well. Barkley's the best. And their defense is incredible. I mean, they've had a top 10 defense all year, rushing, passing, and scoring. And so they looked like the better team. I mean, they were just more talented, and they had been there, 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, a big chunk of the guys. But stinks to see the Eagles in the Super Bowl, but it is what it is.
It's the matchup nobody wanted. Here we are.
The amount of, post I've seen from the Saquon, the showing the Giants front office this past summer.
Oh my gosh,
it's insane, man! And it's just who's going to give him that much money?
Yeah,
and just kind of the arrogance.
I'll tell you who, as he's going to the Super Bowl. Did you see this? I did a little short on this week, but did you see this with Saquon talking after the game?
Amazing, man. It's amazing. We're here, Super Bowl. But the goal wasn't just getting there. The goal is to win. And we're going to celebrate, enjoy this, and get right back to work. Amazing, man.
I've seen, you see a lot of guys focused. That's what I see on MA.
Oh, yeah, he's locked
out of New York. I'm out of that trash organization with the Giants. I'm at a place that takes football seriously. And the offensive line, the quarterback, everyone's in line. They're riding Saquon. He needs to touch the ball 25 times next game. I know Hurts was talking about how they took the straitjacket off, but this offense revolves around Saquon, and it needs to.
I'm telling you, man.
Everyone else, take the pride aside, man. You got to ride the big dog.
You take playoffs into consideration. He's the MVP.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You were right about that.
So, well, thanks. But one more point, and I think it kind of leads to the next game, I was shocked, really from both games, how many times all four teams went for it on fourth down.
It was incredible.
I felt like there was a lot of fourth down.
The game.
Yeah. 4th and 5 for sure changed the game there. And then the freaking 4th and 1 when it's 22-21, Bills are up. I don't know if I like that call.
Going for it?
I don't know if I like the referee call. I'm fine.
Well, the referee call. What kills me is they had it on 3rd and 1. On 3rd and 1, they called him down a yard short, but he got there.
Yeah,
and that's the killer part to me. Was
I didn't realize that I saw the 4th and 1. I felt like the camera angle that was looking up, or down on them, you could see he was past the whatever it was, 30-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shocked. I guess the biggest thing was because it was the call on the field.
Right.
They just didn't have enough. They didn't have the ball position to be able to overturn it. But that I don't want to say that was the game, but
it was kind of the game.
They go score right there. It's 29-21. They're up by 8.
You might go for 2 to try to end the game. Maybe be up by 9.
Be up by 2 possessions, but you put the Chiefs in a lot different position. Yeah,
because the Chiefs needed a field goal at that point. And I thought, so kind of going, let's backtrack a little.
Please.
Back before halftime, they score, and then they go for 2 and miss. That was that, they kick it, but then there was a penalty for, and that for me was one.
5, right?
No, that would have put them down by 3 because it was 21-11.
Okay.
They score a touchdown to make it 21-16.
Yeah.
They kick the extra point, 21-17. But the guy was offside, so they take the penalty and they take the 2, and then try to make it a 3-point game. But I'm just like, there's so much time left in the game and it ends up biting them because what happens? They score the next touchdown, they go for 2 and miss. Then Kansas City scores the next touchdown, go for 2 and gets it. And so instead of them being up 31-28, basically, because Kansas City kept having to go, win for 2, or sorry, let me try it again. Instead of being tied at 31, they end up losing because Kansas City has to go for 2 and the score effects and all the cascading decisions afterwards. And it's like, you don't need to go for 2 there because if you score and get it, then you kick the extra point the next time down. It's 24-21. Instead, it's 22-21, and the game's all funky. It just I'm all for either like if it's Madden, I'm going for 2 every time.
So if it wasn't for that 4th and 1 stop, didn't the Bills score on every possession they had in the second half? They scored on their first 2 for sure.
Well, they didn't score on the last one. They turned it over on downs.
Right.
Yeah, touchdown. Then downs. Touchdown. Yeah, they only had 4 possessions.
Yeah.
Touchdown, downs, touchdown, downs. So, I don't remember them punting very much. Yeah, they punted 1 time.
Yeah.
2 times. They punted on the opening drive. Yeah, they punted twice.
It was
you put up 29 points. Josh Allen again plays great, but just comes up short. I still think, and man, I kind of showed this one earlier too, but you saw this play. This is the different angle that kind of shows they didn't have a good replay. But this is Kincaid on that 4th down. So they do the corner blitz. You see him coming off the corner there, the corner blitz. Mm-hmm. So they rush Josh Allen. He just chunks it deep to Kincaid over the top. He has a chance at it and just drops it. That was that 4th and long late in the game, the last play. They were that close to converting that. They convert that, then obviously they have a chance to tie it up, potentially win it. That was, that was at the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
That 4th and 5. So incredible game. Back and forth. Couldn't tell, you kind of had a feeling at one point that, oh man, this is classic Mahomes is going to win this. And then Buffalo, when they're marching down, you're like, okay, maybe, they're up 22-21. They put a touchdown here.
That was a bad call. I was never confident in the Bills in the 4th, man. I was like, they're not going to do it. It just felt inevitable.
So, yeah, for the 3rd year in a row and the 4th time in 5 years. 4 out of 5.
Chiefs beat the Bills, right?
Yeah. Chiefs beat the Bills again. Well, I was going to say the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl for the 4th time out of 5 years. I think it's for the 4th straight year, or at least 4 straight playoffs. The Bills are knocked out by the Chiefs. I think Josh Allen's 4-0 in his last 4 against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, but 0-4 in the in the postseason, which is just an insane stat. Like I was looking at this the other day about kind of the metrics, and there's usually a myth about turning it on in the playoffs, but the Chiefs are like the only team in history that actually can turn it on in the playoffs. Like their offense is way more efficient, their defenses are better, and it's incredible. Like you're not supposed to be able to do that.
Andy Reid's got something figured out. He's got some kind of voodoo.
Yeah, and we'll talk. I got a segment about dynasties next time as well, analyzing the Patriots dynasty and the Chiefs dynasty and how parity is a lie. It's a daggone lie. But yeah, 2 weeks from today in New Orleans, Chiefs versus Eagles.
Man.
For the Super Bowl.
You think is Mahomes? I saw a segment on First Take the other day. I didn't watch it, but I was actually using the restroom when I saw it on our TV in the restroom at work. It said, is Mahomes more like LeBron or more like Jordan?
This is the picture I've seen online. This is Mahomes, and there's Josh Allen.
That's a great example right there. I like that one better.
Yeah, because it's the guy who can't get there because he's got this killer. He's got the talent. He's got the team. He's got everything he needs, but he just can't get past this one stupid guy. Mahomes is a legacy killer.
The only difference
Lamar,
is
nothing.
Steph loves to beat James Harden.
Oh, yeah.
They hated the Rockets.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, Mahomes loves to beat Josh Allen.
I guarantee you he does too. But I think part of it, I think he probably feels bad a little bit. He's a competitor.
Yeah, you think about who Mahomes has taken out in the playoffs. He's taken out Joe Burrow. He's taken out Josh Allen, I think 4 times. He's taken out Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is a legacy killer. These are guys who would have Super Bowl rings if it weren't for him. And I saw this the other day, and this was crazy. So this is the best average defensive adjusted value over average DVOA. It basically means you're really good. This is like taking all the stats. So this is the best 5 years without making a Super Bowl. And all you have, the best 5-year runs are the Ravens and the Bills from right now.
Wow.
Who can't reach the Super Bowl because they have the GOAT, or one of the GOATs, and one of the best coaches in history blocking their path. Oh, and one of the other best teams in history is the Ravens from, 6 years ago to last year. And and like same with the Bill. Like, these are great teams, legendary type teams that, in most years would make the Super Bowl and win.
I like how the old Philadelphia was on there. Andy Reid's.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Andy Reid's Philadelphia.
Yeah. That was just, I feel like karma, the football karma has kind of swung his way. Because it was so bad just seeing them lose all the time in the NFC Championship. Oh, yeah. Remember?
They went.
I mean, I always had a soft spot for him, but obviously not the Eagles. But
yeah, it was a weird thing where I'm like, I really like him, but I hate them. Mm-hmm. And now it's changing. How funny it changes. Mahomes and Andy Reid, they win this first Super Bowl, and they lose to Brady, and then they win the Super Bowl and break. New England's curse is over, and da 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 da. There's Andy Reid eating cheeseburgers. Mahomes in all the Allstate commercials. It's great. And now within 4 or 5 years, we're like, gosh, that's enough of this guy.
Yeah,
we get it. We love Travis Kelce, but now we're like, okay, that's enough of you. Pat Mahomes. Yeah, we're like, okay.
No more Bundle Rooski.
No more Bundle Rooski. No more Bundle. No more.
Rooski.
Whatever Pat Mahomes' brother is and does. They only showed Taylor Swift twice, but both times I was like, okay.
They started to progressively do it more in the second half.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. It was.
I know they showed her at the end, but you're all celebrating there, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I'm with Belichick on that. Have you ever seen that clip of him?
No, what did he say?
He was like on the Manning cast on Monday Night Football commentating, and they, camera goes to Taylor Swift, and he just goes, It's hilarious.
You sure he wasn't just making old man noises?
He might have just been doing that. Maybe his leg was hurting or something.
I worked at a company, and the chairman of the board was kind of older, and one of the employees was like, he just makes old man noises all day. And I hadn't noticed. And then after he said that, I couldn't stop hearing it. I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. Why'd you tell me that? Stop that.
Happens.
It happens. But yeah, Super Bowl, yet again, it's like a nightmare. It's reoccurring, where you don't have hands, or you have Cheetos for fingers. And you got to open a door, and they keep breaking. And the killer's getting closer, and he wants to eat your fingers. And you're like, sorry, that was too much. Anyway.
That was a lot.
A lot to unpack. Next time on Ben and Case, unpacking our dreams. Well, speaking of dreams come true, there was a lot of transitions with coaches and the coaching hires. So we're gonna list them out who got hired, and then
a lot.
Let's just kind of talk about what we thought about the hire, and what kind of grade them out.
Yeah,
there was typical.
So was there 6 different guys in total?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6, and then New Orleans has not hired. There were 7 openings. New Orleans has not hired anybody yet. Right. I think they'll go Kellen Moore, which makes me sad because I think he's going to be an excellent coach. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys are going to lose another coach to the Saints like they did Sean Payton. You want to start with the Cowboys, or you want to start just rando?
I'm going to start rando. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to go with the one that the worst one for me, the one that made me throw up in my mouth, was the Jaguars head coach.
Oh, Liam.
Just because of the clips of him. What did he say? He was saying somebody. Yeah, there, Duval. I was like, oh my gosh. And then there was a couple other clips of him. People were like, is this like a Jerry Seinfeld character or something? So,
what cracked me up, I thought he was great on Tampa Bay because he kind of looked like a pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you some pictures of him on the sideline. He just kind of looked like a swashbuckler, if you will. Let me see. Maybe it was just his what he was wearing all the time. Let me see if I can pull up a picture. Open image in new tab.
While you're doing that, though, I will say this. I'll give him a little bit of his flowers. I mean, they had an amazing. Was he with Tampa Bay just this year or the last 2 years?
Just this year. There he goes. He just looks like a pirate to me. I can't explain it.
Yeah, he definitely looks like a pirate. I mean, he's also wearing a Buccaneer uniform. So, but yeah, I mean, I love what we did with Baker and the crew over there. So we'll see if he can do anything with Trevor Lawrence or Mac Jones or whoever their quarterback is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. They'll stick with Trevor, I think, for at least another season. What was interesting is he said no thank you to the Jaguars. Withdrew his name from consideration.
Oh.
Took a new deal with the Buccaneers, and then the Jags fired their general manager.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, that was the thing. Was Khan, the owner, on a conference call with the GM Balky, was like, if the coach doesn't, new coach doesn't want him here, the GM here, then we take that into consideration. Like kind of like basically saying, well, yeah, we're going to fire this guy next to me if we know we need to. And then that's what happened. Obviously Cohen did not want him there, wanted to bring in his own guy or someone else, and that's what happened. So then he, what's interesting, I thought, was the change in Tampa Bay's offense went from, much more run heavy last year, kind of very stubbornly.
Yeah.
To much more pass heavy this year. And I think Baker Mayfield had a career, had a career year.
Right.
Even without, with losing Chris Godwin, with losing Mike Evans for a large stretch, he still played absolutely phenomenal. So I think he's one that I kind of was keeping my eye on. I didn't think he'd get a job that quick, but
interesting.
Yeah, it was an interesting hire. So I give it a B for now. Right now in a B. Like, I think it's good. The memes are funny. We'll see if he's any good. Yeah.
Maybe he's just a character.
What did you? Yeah, we need more of those. It's good content.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
What did you think of Pete Carroll?
Oh man, I was kind of shocked by that, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's. I've always loved Pete Carroll. I kind of secretly cheered for USC back in the day. And then, he chose the bubble gum. I've just always liked him. I felt like he always had that energy. He's bouncing around. And, he was pretty successful everywhere he went. So I was surprised, though, because he's kind of older.
73.
Yeah, he's getting on up there. And my guess was that they wanted to kind of stabilize the organization.
Yes.
Because it's been crappy for, the last, 4 or 5 years. This year they were terrible. Mm-hmm. So maybe you stabilize things a little bit, bring him in. I think they signed him to a 3-year deal, maybe.
Probably all he's got with him, yeah.
And just say, hey, maybe groom somebody to come in behind you.
Yeah, I agree with
that
you.
Sort of thing. But it's a safe pick is what it is. I was surprised by it. It felt like something Jerry would do.
Yeah, I was a little surprised the Cowboys weren't in on Carroll.
Yeah.
I agree with you. This to me seems like a culture hire. The Raiders culture has been either non-existent or toxic or weird.
Yeah.
Really the last 15 years.
Right.
So this kind of screams Tom Brady, bring in a veteran coach who knows what he's doing in order to kind of get things right, to take, winning seriously for the first time in a while. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really have a quarterback, which is a big problem. As far as the hire itself, it'll be fun because him and Jim Harbaugh
mm-hmm.
have always not gotten along traditionally.
Oh, yeah.
When he was with Seattle and San Francisco and back to USC and Washington. USC and Stanford.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. That's an exciting time for me. My problem is the game kind of passed him by. I think he ranked last or close to the bottom every year in basic aggressiveness, going forward on fourth down, 2-point conversions, and so on.
At the end.
Whereas the game, kind of like you were talking about, man, they were going for fourth down.
Yeah.
4th and 5 on Washington 45. Pete Carroll punts that ball.
True.
The Eagles go for it and go for the kill shot. But I think it's a culture hire. I think Brady's fingerprints are on that. I think they're trying to kind of reestablish themselves. The Chiefs have won that division 9 straight years.
Ooh.
So, and the Raiders aren't going to contend this year. So I think they're trying to build something here.
It sounds like, I don't know, what do they got, the 5th pick? Allegedly, they were going to go for Shedeur, potentially.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Sanders. So that'd be fun. They got both. They could get both the Sanders kids.
That sounds like a great culture.
Yeah.
They have the 6th pick.
Okay, 6th pick.
Tennessee needs a quarterback. Cleveland probably needs a quarterback. The Giants need a quarterback ahead of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Shedeur reaches them or I don't know. I'm kind of out of it on the draft game right now.
We'll do the draft thing later.
The Jets hired Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was going to happen. I mean,
yeah, the Lions lost both coordinators. It'll be interesting to see how they rebound.
Right,
but another culture guy.
I thought and also played there.
Mm-hmm.
So fan favorite. That'll sell tickets. It sounded like they wanted just a maturity level. Is what I've seen all the reports say. I guess, what's his name? Salah wasn't the best guy for the job after all. Obviously, they fire him in the middle of the year, or 4 games in?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's similar. I think you thought it was going to get better with Aaron Rodgers. They need some stabilization. It's a safe pick. And it's a strong pick. He's done well the last few years with the Lions. I give that one a B+.
Yeah, that one's I think he's going to be a great coach. Like you said, team leader, fan favorite when he played. They loved him in Detroit. Culture changer. Yeah, I think this is going to be an A hire. Okay. We'll see what the offensive coordinator and what they do there, if they re-sign Aaron Rodgers and we have another year of circus or whatnot. But I think, you need a guy who changes the culture. So I like that one. I give that one a solid A. The big hire, as far as name, is Ben Johnson. Going to the Bears. The Bears wasted a year of Caleb Williams, keeping everyone around, and it didn't work. Most teams, when they reset completely. Time for a new quarterback and a new coach, and maybe even a new GM. And so they got a good coach. Hopefully, Caleb Williams can improve quickly. They got DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. They got salary cap space. I think he was the hot commodity, Ben Johnson, for obvious reasons. You saw the Detroit offense, and it has talent, don't get me wrong, but even before that, he was still a top 10 offense, even with pretty mediocre talent around him. So I think that's going to be, I think he's the coach. I think he's the guy.
I think that's
big fan
as well. I think he'll be great there. And no more excuses.
Nope.
Yeah. Stop painting the nails. My favorite pick, though, was Mike Vrabel.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been a fan of him, and I felt like he got a rough shake there at the end of Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't know why he was fired.
I don't know what it was. It sounded like maybe he didn't necessarily get along with the front office. It was something like that. There was a difference in personalities. Mm-hmm. But he just, I think to the point of going back to somewhat of a running league, I mean, he's right back in it. He took a couple years off. I mean, he had Derrick Henry there in Tennessee.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anybody right now on the Patriots. He doesn't have a team, but they, go after some guys, see what happens.
I mean, it only takes a year to get back in it. You get a good schedule.
Yeah.
And you can be a contender, not in no time, but almost in no time.
I mean, look at the Commanders.
Yeah, I like the hire a lot. When he talked about how they're talking about him being a running guy, and he's like, well, I had a pretty good running back on the Titans. So, yeah, of course I ran the ball.
Yeah.
Which is obvious. You give the ball to your best player. Don't mix it up too much. He did bring up a very dumb stat, in my opinion. He's like, teams that throw the ball 50 times a game, only win 20% of the time, which is stupid to me because if you're throwing the ball 50 times a game, it's because you're losing. Like, that's a classic, like, you're reversing the correlation there.
Yeah.
It's like teams, if you run the ball 30 times a game, you win 80% of the time or whatever. Well, yeah, because you're ahead when you're running the ball and controlling the clock. Like, this is correlation and causation, mixing those two things up. So we'll see what his offense look like. They brought back Josh McDaniels, which is huge.
Yeah, he left the Raiders.
I think he's a great offensive coordinator. And there's nothing wrong with being a great offensive coordinator and not being cut out to be a head coach. That's fine. Like
Kingsbury.
Yeah, Kingsbury's a perfect example. Who's the guy? Spagnuolo in Kansas City. Great coordinator. Failed as a head coach.
Yeah.
No problem with that. So twice worked with Brady. 2 failed stints, obviously, as a head coach, but let's see what he can do with Drake May. They got the 3rd overall pick. They were really lacking offensive weapons. Like, they don't really have any receivers to speak of.
Yeah.
Sorry, they have the 4th overall pick. My apology. But they don't really have any receivers to speak of. I mean, they'll be able to get some talent there for sure at pick number 4 overall. This one, kind of the same. It's an A+. It might take a few years for it to really come around, though.
Yeah, I'd say give it 2 or 3 years, but good solid pick. And yeah, I think they got the guy they wanted.
Which brings us to the Cowboys.
Man.
Oh,
what a
Brian
underwhelming choice in my opinion. I don't really what's he done so far in the league?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's done necessarily to earn a spot like this. It's he's been all around and he hasn't really done a ton.
It just doesn't seem like
he's gotten
upgrade either from McCarthy. Like, it's something different.
Yes.
And they did just...
But isn't that much different? Because he was the offensive coordinator, but he didn't call plays.
Yeah.
And he's just been all around. Like, he was with he was with the Redskins as the quarterback coach, Chargers quarterback coach in 2002, Jets offensive coordinator 2006 to 2011, Rams offensive coordinator 2012 to 2014, went to Georgia, quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator at Seattle the last years of Russ in the COVID year, passing game coordinator for the Jaguars during the failed Urban Meyer experiment, and then coaching analyst, offensive coordinator, and now head coach for the Cowboys. So the only thing, as I went down his resume and kind of looked at, the only thing I saw that I liked was the fact he never really had a good quarterback or offensive system. Like, he never had a guy to say, like kind of like Josh McDaniels. Is he that good, or did he have Tom Brady all that time?
Right.
Cliff Kingsbury he did great this year. It sure helps to have a talented quarterback, though.
Right.
So you could be the greatest coach in the world and not be able... I mean, like Belichick losing all those games his last year. Belichick was still the best coach in the game. He just didn't have any talent around to win the game. So the only thing I can take away from Schottenheimer being uninspiring, yes. Did they screw it all up? Yes. Would I rather had Kellen Moore or Joe Brady or Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn or any of those guys? Yes, absolutely. But the only thing that makes me kind of like, okay, was his interview was pretty good. And it's going to have some continuity with the offense, which is okay.
Yeah.
But like he hasn't really had a chance to lead an offense as talented as this. So we'll give it a C+ for now, a passing grade until I see otherwise. It could quickly turn into an F.
I'm kind of with you on that. And I don't know if Jerry's going for low expectations.
Yeah. He better.
So
hard to sell low expectations, but the stadium sells out every year anyway. It's just other people's fans.
State. It was just like, I felt like they were just decent, and now it's just kind of in this weird in between.
The league goes fast for everybody but Mahomes and Brady. Like, you're 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, and then the coach gets fired. Your offensive coordinator's in Philadelphia. Your defensive coordinator, in the Super Bowl, your defensive coordinator's the head coach of Washington, almost making the Super Bowl. And you're like, what just happened?
Yeah, we're 4-12 or 4-13.
And it's like, and we suck. And now, this year, we'll see. I mean, McCarthy did fine. I mean, they finished 7-10.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they did a pretty good job. But yeah, they should have fired McCarthy earlier in the season. So that way you actually tank and get a decent draft pick. They desperately need another receiver. They desperately need help on the offensive line. They desperately need help on the defensive line. They desperately need help at running back. So hopefully you can get 5 first-round picks.
Freaking wild.
It's going to be a lot.
Crazy
times. Love football. Unfortunately, only 2 weeks left. Got the Pro Bowl. Woo! And we got the Superb Owl coming up.
Oh my gosh.
Is that not what it's called?
Superb Owl.
Superb Owl.
That was the dad joke.
Thank you. I liked it quite a bit.
We talking NBA?
Let's talk hoops.
We're fixing to have to start ramping into it.
Yeah, the season kind of feels slow to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't seem like it's gotten a lot of coverage. It's been hard to get. Is it just because, I don't know if it's just because LeBron and Steph are kind of old and not really headlining it. We're in a weird space with the league where there's not really a face of the league. Like, it felt like this should have been Luka's year, but he's been hurt. Jason Tatum passes the ball too much and is too vanilla. There just doesn't seem like there's a real face of the league right now.
He's too vanilla. He is. He's soft. The most interesting part of it all to me has been like, they haven't even tried to control the narrative. Like, you would think that the league would be like, hey, this is talking in the back room, in the boardroom. Hey, our ratings are going down. We should start trying to like fire things up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because I felt like 2 years ago, like the narrative about the NBA was they're getting the most hits on social media like than any other sport in the world. The most clips on YouTube, XYZ. And then the whole narrative this year has just been like, no one's watching the NBA anymore. What happened? So
once you lose control of the narrative, it's hard to get it back. Because I don't know what the ratings are comparatively. I know they were down when we checked on them before, but it's like once that narrative gets going, oh, no one's watching this. Oh, then that takes away the casual fan who's like, oh, well, no one's watching it. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much of that is narrative versus reality.
Well, it's a changing of time and changing of the guard. And even for like a fan like myself, I'm having to try to find new things to engage with. Some of these younger teams are kind of catching my eye. I think the most surprising team to me right now is the Rockets.
Oh, yeah.
The Rockets beat the Celtics last night, and they're second in the West. They're 31-14, and one of my favorite players is that. Have you watched one of the Thompson brothers?
I haven't watched a game of his this year. Yeah. I'm not in market.
Amen Thompson. It's spelled like amen. Man, he's he kind of plays like Jaylen Brown. He's a second-year guy. He's got a twin brother who plays on the Pistons. And I still can't watch. I will not watch the Pistons, and I hate watching the Bobcats or Charlotte Hornets, whoever they are now.
Why is that? Just how bad they are?
They're just so terrible, and they don't care. The only one who cares is LaMelo. And I still feel like he just cares about putting up 30 and 10.
Hey, at least he cares about something.
He cares about something, though.
Their coach for the Rockets, you know who that is, right?
They got Ime. Yeah.
Yeah. So he used to coach the Celtics, had to leave because of some questionable behavior.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's got them playing a similar style. And, you know, if you play the right style,
that's what I'm saying.
Then you can win games. I mean, I would say most surprising in a good way for me. Well, yeah, because then we'd be the most disappointing later. I thought the Cavs have just played out of their mind.
Oh, man.
Obviously, the 1 seed, still 5. They the talk was them, you know, where they challenged the Warriors record when they were, what were they, 32-4? Well, they've gone 5-5 in their last 10. So
yeah,
they got a challenge. They might win 65, but obviously they're not winning 70. But they've looked good.
What's crazy about them is
Thunder taking the 1 seed over.
After the All-Star break last year, there was one point in time they went on like a big run. They were like 22-3 or something like that. But I was thinking they were going to be the team to beat in the East, and then I felt like they hit their peak at like game 70, and then kind of started going downhill.
Just dropped.
Yeah, but it's essentially the exact same roster as last year. The only difference is they fired their coach. They brought in the assistant who was, he'd been with the Warriors for a few years. And I think he actually coached for France in the Olympics this past summer.
Oh, wow.
So, but yeah, the Cavs are, I
love D Wade on their team.
Oh yeah. They got a couple, they got him and then they got Merrill, the two white shooters.
Yeah, it's my favorite D Wade in NBA history. Let me tell you right now.
Oh my gosh, that's brave.
Maybe he can ride LeBron's coattails for 2 titles.
Let me tell you about D Wade
and the referees 29 free throws. Anyway, yeah. What about most disappointing team? Who are you kind of like disappointed in, team wise or storyline wise?
I'm gonna 100% say the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, I got the same one.
I felt like Joel was he was decent in the Olympics, and it's kind of just weird. I feel like they have just completely imploded. Paul George he's not Paul George anymore.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy how smart the Clippers look letting him go.
Yeah. They were like, well, we offered him 3 years and he didn't take it. So we told him, he could leave. They look smart. Yeah, and then I love Nick Nurse, their coach. He's been one of my favorite coaches. I loved him with the Raptors. Obviously, he won in 2019, but yeah, man, they just
something's right in there.
They don't have it. I don't know what it is. I'm starting to think it's probably Daryl Morey. I feel like he ends up kind of just rotting out everywhere he goes. But
I think he puts his faith behind the wrong players, like Embiid and Harden. And then it just, then it just doesn't work. He got the Rockets to the point where they should have beaten the Warriors. They had them at 3-1. They missed that 27 3-pointers in a row. They had a big lead in that game, and just they had him beat. And I don't know, you can GM the heck out of it, but I don't know, man. Something doesn't quite work.
What's your midseason awards? We'll do our best.
Oh, that's what we're talking about now. That's what we're talking about. So most disappointing team for me, obviously. I agree, the 76ers. Most disappointing storyline for me is Luka's injury.
Oh, my God.
Because the Mavs are down to 9th place right now. They did slap. They've won 2 out of 3. They actually beat the the Thunder and the Wizards, but they lost to the Hornets, lost to the Pelicans. Yeah, trying to hang on without Luka. They've lost at different times, all 5 of their starting 5. So the injuries that kill it. It's just disappointing.
It's hard to watch because it's so much harder for them to generate offense with no Luka.
Oh, yeah. You take the best player off of every team, and we'll see how they do.
Yeah, and they also, they've had some games where, like they beat the Thunder, but essentially, the rule of thumb is anytime you don't score 100 points, you're going to lose, and they've had a handful of those. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays it's probably closer to 110 with the way shooting is.
It's true.
So that was my most disappointing storyline. Who you got for MVP right now? Who's your kind of favorite? What are you looking at for MVP? Joker looks good. SGA looks good. Tatum looks good.
I was going to say, unfortunately, it's going to be SGA. He's the best player on the best team right now. I mean, they literally picked up where they left off last year, and now he's a couple points better. I think he's averaging like 32. They're essentially
32, 5, and 6.
Yeah, 32, 5, and 6. And it's you could probably give it to Jokic every year, almost like LeBron back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's his turn. If Luka can't.
It was Luka's turn this year. Dang it!
Yeah, he can't. He's not going to play 65 games.
No, he's not going to make the minimum. Yeah, the current standings. SGA's ranked 1. He's got 32, 5, and 6. So pretty dope. Jokic, I didn't realize, is averaging a triple-double. He's up to 30.2 points, 13.4 rebounds, and 10.1 assists.
That's what I'm saying.
So if you average a triple-double, for me, pretty good.
That is one team that I love to watch them play.
Oh, the ball movement, man.
Yeah.
So good.
The ball movement's great. He's the most competitive person in the world. I mean, he wants to win every possession. It's insane. That's why he's so good.
Oh, yeah.
He could care less.
Quit.
People are like, he hates basketball. I'm like, he loves to compete, though.
Got to get that competitive juices in there. It's like Luka. He wants to win every single possession, every single time. He doesn't win the offseason, but it's going to be fun as the race starts heating up. If the Mavs don't turn it around pretty quick, you might be, I don't know. It's not looking pretty. My bold prediction right now, Spurs sneak into the play-in.
Ooh, to the play-in.
3 play-in.
Okay.
So the 10 seed. They're 3 games out of the play-in spot. They're in a down stretch. They've, lost 7 of their last 10. But I think Spurs sneak into the play-in. I have no metrics on this.
Well, they also
it's pure vibes.
There's some reports going out today that they may be trading for De'Aaron Fox.
Well, there you go.
Who's on the Kings? Which that would flip the Kings. That would send the Kings into rebuild.
Yeah.
No. I think my sleeper. I think the Timberwolves are going to figure it out. I watched them play the other night. They beat the Nuggets by 30.
Oof.
And Randall, and it's starting to turn a little bit. They looked bad. They've won
3 straight.
Yeah, it looked bad when, not necessarily without Cat. They just hadn't figured out their side of the trades yet. But I started to see it a little better. Randall and Ant were sharing the ball. And then you just have so many players around them. You have Naz Reid, you have Jaden Daniels. You got some vet presence in Michael Conley. I feel like they could go the distance in the West.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And right now they're obviously in the 7th seed, but look out for them in the second half. And yeah, that's my sleeper team right now. Of course I have to root for the Lakers, but I don't think they have the horsepower.
I don't think they have the horsepower to go far. I think they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah. They're
the 5 seed right now. They seem to be playing a little better. They'll be kind of hovering around there, that 5, 6, 7. If they play well, they'll miss the play-in, but they seem like a one and done team this year to me.
Yeah. I guess
lose the first round in 6.
I'm going to take a very early pick, and I can change this later, but I'm taking Minnesota out of the West.
Oh. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think it's going to happen. I think things are going to turn around.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't going to be that bold. That's for sure. It's too early for my NBA. I got to let the season we're at the part where we're starting
to come to you.
Like you're saying, you got to let the game come to you a little bit. We're at the teams that started hot are starting to cool off a little bit. The season's starting to grind and wear. And like you were saying with Minnesota, like this is the point in the year where teams start to figure it out and start to build towards the playoffs. So, there'll be some surprises. I think, like I said, the Spurs, will figure it out. I think the Suns are stuck.
Yeah, they're stuck.
We'll see.
They're too old.
I feel I don't feel bad for them. Devin Booker, except for at the Olympics where he was my guy there. But
I was looking at the top 5 oldest teams in the NBA the other day, and obviously the Suns are one of them. Milwaukee, I think, is the oldest with an average age of, I don't remember, 29, something like that.
How old is Giannis?
Giannis is only 30.
I was going to say, he's got to be 30, though.
That's the piece. If look at it from this perspective, Giannis is 30. LeBron's 40. He could play for another 10 years like this.
He's got to learn to shoot a little better. Yeah, so I think he's got 3 or 4 at dominance, and then kind of slide to being a role player.
Yeah,
I don't like LeBron's the outlier by
the point I was trying to make is in the top 5 you had the Suns, you had the Bucks, and then I think it was at 3 or 4 was the Celtics.
Oh, really?
I was like, I did not realize. I mean, if you think about it, Drew Holiday is probably 34, 35.
Oh, yeah. Well, Al Horford's 50.
Porzingis is 32. Yeah, Al Horford's my dad's age.
38. 3 years younger than 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
Jordan Walsh looks like he's 90, but he's only 20. I'm sorry, he makes more money than me. I can laugh at him.
Yeah, same.
He's on the vet. Even if he's on the vet minimum, he's doing, another 0 on his salary better than me. So,
yeah, NBA season's coming. We'll finish football. Let the All-Star break happen. No one's going to watch that for sure. And then,
oh gosh,
yeah, second half of the season we'll start to pick up a little bit more there.
Your boy Max is doing the dunk contest.
Who?
But didn't
Max
McClung
Christie?
go back? No. Who said in the dunk contest? Who's been the guy that winning?
Oh, you talking about Mac McClung?
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said Max. Yeah,
I might say Max.
Is he on an NBA roster right now? That was the thing. They had to sign him to like a 10-day because he was on the G League team. That's real. They signed him.
I know it's real.
Like a 10-day.
Signed a 10-day contract so he can go win the dunk contest and get sent back down.
Did he win it twice or once?
I think he's won it twice.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how bad the dunk contest is. LeBron never has participated, which has been disappointing. But he's more of a power dunker than spinorama thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I've always been a
3-point contest. Yeah, 3-point contest. I'll watch that. Skill competition is kind of boring.
Yeah.
The celebrity game's hilarious.
Yeah, when Kevin Hart wins, I guess, or somebody like that.
He always comes out. But yeah, it's about all I got.
10-4.